Hello, everyone, and welcome to this rotation's first art check, unless some technical bullshit happens. Right?
Yeah.
Right? We're good?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, don't you jinx me, I swear to fucking God. Oh, yeah, also we need to try to keep the swearing down for at least the first 5 minutes, and I've already failed. There you go.
Yeah, congratulations. Your failure has been complete, Trym.
Yes, failure is complete. I still like the prequels, no matter what Dan says.
Well, actually, this has been a interesting recent bit of discussion. If we want to go down this path so soon, the problem I have with the prequels largely is because of the timeline and the whole creepy Padme Anakin thing.
Well, they were adults when they got together, but the starting it off with a 14 and 9-year-olds.
9? Yeah. No. See,
it's only 5 years between them, so that's no problem.
Yeah, but here's the thing I personally think would have been a better choice is if they'd made Anakin just a bit older. It would have made that whole, well, he's too old to begin the training thing a lot more relatable to the audience.
Yeah, if he could have been like 12 or 13.
Exactly.
Hey, if you had him on 12, you could still have the slightly, boyish behavior make sense.
And it would also, personally, I think it would have made some of the attachments issues a bit stronger when it came to his mother. It would have actually played out the reason why he doesn't fit in more, because he just came in on an off cycle. It would have just really amped up why he was treated so suspiciously, despite the positive attributes that were brought in.
Yeah, I am a fan of prequels, but I am not gonna start saying that they're perfect. Like, you know how my view of Transformers is? The 40-60% divide?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
With the prequels, it is... it is more like a 80-20. There's 20% absolute putrid shit, but... And, of course, I swear. Darn it! Okay.
Restraint, Trym, restraint. You've got... Well, now you've kind of got to reset
it's
for another
hard.
5 minutes.
It's
Yeah,
hard,
well,
darn it.
There you go. It takes a little willpower.
It hurts.
Yeah,
Anyway,
well,
where
you should be on this end of the conversation.
You. I don't want to torture myself, Gene.
Yep. But
yeah, what was I before I zone out?
you were talking about
Oh yeah, the
balance of your view on the prequels.
Yeah, it is 20% that is just terrible. Like, I'm not a fan of Jar Jar. Jar Jar was fun when I was a kid, and Phantom Menace was my first into Star Wars, so I didn't really have much of an idea of how little he actually fit into the series.
Well, and here, Jar Jar could have been an interesting character if
Should have been an interesting character.
if his big clumsy goofball had been a facade. I'm not necessarily saying go the Darth Jar Jar route, but more of like the Yoda personality where that's strange, quirky little green dude, and then this was actually all just a test. That would have been, I think, more in fitting with kind of the nature of Star Wars.
Think that would be so much better. Give me a second. Mute.
Ah! And folks, this is how you know that this is live.
Sorry, again, construction outside of my house, which is incidentally why I haven't done anything related to online activity for this last week. Yeah, they're still in full swing out there, but I've finished up my side of it, and also got to do a little bit of this. Sorry.
Well, and to Callum's point, Clone Wars series with Jar Jar kind of cleaned that up. Here's the problem that I have with basically everything Star Wars after the original trilogy, really right up to the prequels. After that is, oh, well, you need to go read this supplementary material. It'll make sense. It's like, no, I want to watch the movies. I don't want to have filler thrown in to something where it should be a complete project. Now, if you want to like flesh out little side stories, like in Empire Strikes Back, they talk about, oh, well, this run-in with a bounty hunter on Ord Mantell. That's a fine story to kind of flesh out as a separate thing. But don't, it's not important enough to go and say, oh, well, this fills in all the gaps. This novelization fixes these plot holes. And it's like, just stop. Write a complete, and this doesn't have to be just for Star Wars per se, but any massive series. Do.
Sorry, more insistence. Apparently someone's gonna cut the water here, so
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah, so I need to pour out a little bit just in case I need some. Yay! That's we now interrupt this podcast with life shit.
Yay! Yeah. I don't like this supplemental materials mentality. It should be, if somebody wants to write a fun side story, awesome, but don't have it fill in the plot holes of whatever movie you're watching, because it's poor writing. And I don't care what media.
I'm gonna point out something, and to me, I would have loved the Darth Jar Jar route, or rather, not Darth Jar Jar, but Darth Plagueis. I would have loved for him to be sort of a background character, but that would mean he also would have to take the place of Sidious in Phantom Menace. You would have to be able to see Sidious's journey along with the rest of the series, right?
Right, although then that would have made the Phantom Menace just this horrendous bloated movie that it already was, even more bloated.
No, but I think you could actually do it and keep the usual length, and you would just add a different kind of drama to the side of it. I think it would be possible. George Lucas would just have to hire competent writers.
And cut out pod racing.
Yeah, I like pod racing, not gonna lie.
Yeah, but pod racing was like 10 minutes of the whole movie, if not more.
Oh, it's cool. Again, most of the thing is just rule of cool, let's be fair.
Yeah, but it's just
not really necessary, but it's cool.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like I don't think it added anything to the character development of anybody. I was like, oh, well, look how good Anakin is at
No, it is actually
all this.
There.
It's like
it is mentioned. It is stated in the movie that regular humans can't do pod racing because of the lack of instinct. So it kind of shows off what Anakin is able to do.
You know what would have fixed that though? It would have, if you'd done that correctly. You could have had a pod racing trophy on the back wall in a scene, and it would be like, oh, look at that. He's already won twice. Oh, maybe Anakin's better at this than we thought. I mean, that's just kind of the way I look at it.
Oh, yeah, that would work. You would turn 10 minutes into, 30 seconds?
Yeah.
And then you remove, at least mix in with a lot of the other melodrama. Though I still wish they could keep more of the keep the politics in it, because I do like the politics in Star Wars. You know, in
Oh,
universe
it's fascinating.
intrigue. And that is where, like, the Darth Plagueis novel should have been integrated into the Phantom Menace, because it would actually not have taken away from Palpatine's character his ascension to the Sith, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or ascension from apprentice to master. And then, of course, it would be... Darth Maul wasn't really used much. Not in the fashion, but it would kind of be...
He was a useless character. I mean, he should have actually been a Phantom.
Again, a useless character became useful later on.
Yeah, but again, that gets into my problem of, it's like, oh, well, we're going to fix this after the fact because we have to have plot holes to be filled. It's just, you know, and Dave properly, I think, is pointing out, they're so poorly written you have to bend yourself over backwards and sideways to justify the entertaining value of these movies in a post hoc fashion. I mean, I won't say that they're not of entertaining value, but it's kind of like, well, you remember that super cut I did of season 3 of The Mandalorian, where I cut all the fat out and basically made it like 2 hours. Basically, they just had all these bloated story beats that were completely unnecessary in the prequels.
Oh, there were, again, there's a lot of things that is improvable. Hell, even in Attack of the Clones. Again, it is, I like them because I grew up with them. There's a lot of proper good stuff too. There's some criticism that works, some criticism that doesn't work, to be honest, because I can look at the prequel, I can look at the original trilogies, and there are some flaws there too.
Yeah, no shit. I mean, the whole Ewok thing, when those should have been Wookiees.
Yes. Oh god. Now that is something that annoys me to this day. That annoyed me when I was a kid. Like, why Ewoks? Why are they here?
Yeah, no, and yeah, Dave is completely correct. Yeah, Lucas is a bad writer. He's a great idea guy when it comes to stories. I mean, look at, you know, Indiana Jones, the 3 movies of that were made. If you look at like American Graffiti and things like is it THX 1138 or something. It's been a long time since I've seen that. He can come up with great stories to tell, but he cannot write them worth a damn.
Nope. But he is a great world builder. It's about realizing your mistakes, but then again, even from the faults in Lucas's, I'm just gonna say, he might not be the best writer, but what we got is still fucking great. I still love what happens. There's a reason why Revenge of the Sith is my absolute favorite movie in the Star Wars franchise. It's because it is the culmination of the entire prequel and 1,000 years before that. The grand plan of the Sith, and I just love that part.
I mean, you're welcome to think that, but let's be honest. The ultimate Star Wars movie, Empire Strikes Back.
It's pretty darn good, but I still prefer the Revenge of the Sith. Because it has more in it. It has a bigger presence. While Empire Strikes, it does. Again, the entire galactic civil war there is concluded. The Sith's master plan is finished. The Jedi are all but extinct. There's a massive change there. Well,
I will concede that
it is change on a galactic scale, but the change in Empire Strikes Back is far more personal. So, if you want, here's the thing: on a grand scale.
But again, the rebellion is almost crushed, which is a galactic scale event.
The rebellion isn't really that big, to be honest. I don't. Nah. That's my issue with the OG. It feels small. I think.
Well, because it is, as you said, more of a personal story.
Exactly, and
but
that is again. There's no. The only time they mention the whole Galactic Senate is just a mention that the Emperor dissolved it. We didn't get to see any of it. There's a fair bit of.
But you don't need to see the full scale of something to understand the scope.
Yeah, but I would have liked to see a hint of it.
I mean, okay. How many war movies have you watched of late, Trym?
Fair for you.
Okay. So what I'm hearing from you is you've seen The Longest Day, right?
Maybe. Might not remember it.
Okay. So you've got The Longest Day, which I think would be a good stand-in for Revenge of the Sith, because it's showing like the whole operation. Yeah. But I would say the original trilogy is more like, oh, that would be a good example. All Quiet on the Western Front. The original version, where it's a very personal story, but you get an idea that the scope is much bigger.
Yeah, and the focus is always on the soldiers there, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And see, that's the difference. You're wanting this grand cinematic experience with all these moving parts. I prefer a very personal hero's arc kind of story.
And how does that make me wrong and you right then?
Because I'm me and you're you.
Exactly.
So you're wrong. Eh?
That's actually just a. That doesn't really hold water for me. That's just. Oh, my preferences are superior to your preferences. Well, we, to be honest, have two very main preferences. And sometimes honestly, I just like what I like about Star Wars is that it's a galactic war. I feel the scale of it all more in Revenge of the Sith. Now, I'm not saying Empire Strikes Back is bad. I love the movie, right? It is the second best Star Wars movie. But Revenge of the Sith, just again, it is the completion feeling I get from it. You know, the tragedy of it, how Anakin falls to the dark side. Now, one thing is too that.
But here's the thing. Yeah, if you don't know that he's going to be redeemed, is it that fulfilling? That is a genuine question, because it's something I've always wanted to kind of experiment with somebody who's never seen Star Wars. Well, like two people. With one, you show them in chronological order in how the films were made, and then you do somebody else in a sequential order as far as the episode numbers. You want to
hear something funny? I didn't get into Star Wars until after Revenge of the Sith.
Okay.
I did watch the others, but I didn't really get into Star Wars proper until after Revenge of the Sith.
Well, that's not quite the point I'm trying to make, though, because it's like I want somebody who's never seen any of it, has no concept, and you show them in both two different types of orders, and see which one is more impactful for them. I think that because we all have our biases. I saw the original trilogy long before they were even thinking about making the prequels.
Fair.
So, and I think, me personally, it's like I think they hold up better to scrutiny than the prequels. Not because they're necessarily like the perfect story or anything, but I think they've got more meat in them. Kind of like Ghost Shark 2. So.
I mean, again, that is your preference.
Yeah.
It's hard to explain it properly. think it's just the limitations of the technology back in the day too.
Well, but
Again-
well, that's another beef I have with the prequels.
What?
It's too shiny. You know, I mean, so it's like George Lucas found all of this like new CGI technology, like, ooh, look at that, without going back to what made him and Star Wars interesting, was a lived-in universe. Now, I understand that, you know, you needed to have that, things were kind of worn out and run down between the end of the Republic and the Rebellion, but I think there should have been more of a lived-in feel for certain parts of the prequels, and I just find that very lacking because the CGI of that time was very limited. Now, does that mean it's bad? No, but to me, it's like it needed a. You know, Lucas went back and fixed the original trilogy with the special edition. So why the hell not go back now to the prequels and fix some of that? Just saying.
That'd be cool, but he can't do that now though because of a certain Kennedy.
Yeah. Well, we need not talk about that creature.
Exactly. The one that broke it all. But yeah.
Yeah. Well.
Again, I would have loved to see how Star Wars would have developed, because a lot of what happened with Disney being sold to Disney buying Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Lord above keeps calling. That's it. I'm starting to get tired of this shit. Give me a second.
Ooh, that's cool. Interesting. I don't want to go to this
I'm back.
sketchy-looking website.
Wait, what?
Oh, there's a interesting camouflage pattern shirt that I'm fascinated in, but don't really want to go check out their website. Tracking and all that, you know?
Everything's tracking you nowadays.
Yeah. Nope, can't say it on this.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll keep it for tomorrow. I have thoughts. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
But, yeah,
just give me another work.
Oh. Wonder and Amaze live. All right. Gotta put that on live. I swear, whatever happened, you know, for whatever reason, YouTube hates going live with this.
Oh, it does. And also today is just not the day for anything. If something has to happen, it has to happen right now. sorry about that, but there's some. We're doing some major refurbishing in the home area, and it looks really nice. But I won't show it because privacy.
Well, you know, if you really wanted to, you could just like take a picture of some, or actually go get some stock image from the internet. It's like, this is construction, yay!
Yeah, that'd be nice. Would be absolutely great.
Yeah. It's like, I didn't know Trym lived in Ottawa.
Oh no, I live in the Ottawa.
Oof.
Yes, the worst one.
Yep.
I'm sorry for interruptions, guys. to be everything at once now. I honestly thought that I would have some time to do this, but literally God and everyone wants to just be in the apartment now. Oh lord. Well, it's gonna be a short episode today anyway, so I'm sorry about the constant interruptions. We have half an hour left. It's just typical. I'm sorry, everyone.
Yeah. Now, and Dave points out, hopefully it's popular, the beer that Primed is buying, most popular beers in the U.S. are piss water. And it's true. Although, I will say, I do have a soft spot for, what is it? It was Rainier, and then I think Rainier disappeared, so it's like Olympic. Then there's also, Hams, which is a terrible beer, but it's
Hams.
Hamms. It's, yeah, it's like Michigan or Minnesota or something like that. But Old Style actually is my favorite trash beer, and it's actually very good. Surprisingly so.
In Norway, one of the main trash beers here in Norway is called Dals. I'm posting it in the chat. It is the beer that every young Norwegian drinks themselves drunk on the first time if they're beer drinkers. One of the cheapest brands of them all. The other one is called Pokal, or literally translated to trophy. And the thing is, though, for being like a cheap trash pilsner, it is surprisingly good. You could just sit down and enjoy life with it.
Yeah, I'm that. So in the U.S., what happened was we had these, like, I won't say they're like really amazing, but they were, they got the job done, and I don't mean just like hammered off your ass kind of thing. We've passed that 5-minute mark, so. But the problem was with those kinds of beers, it's like they kind of got, like, in the 80s, early 90s, a lot of them just weren't doing well because we started doing more import beer. And what ultimately ended up happening was, like, Pabst Blue Ribbon started buying out some of the smaller breweries, and then you had like Budweiser and InBev and all these other, like, gigantic corporations just buying them out and then basically destroying them over time, either by remixing the recipe or something like that. And it just, it's a real tragedy, because we used to have, like, good, solid regional beers.
Yeah.
And then for a long stretch, up until about, I would say, 10 years ago, when the craft brewery thing really kicked off, then we suddenly started getting this resurgence of good regional brand beers.
Yeah, because then people who really cared about what they did, instead of making a quick buck, started making beer.
Exactly. And then, where I am, I won't name it, but it was like this amazing regional brewery. Just absolutely one of the best breweries I've ever been to. And then they sold out to, I think, Budweiser.
Yeah. Oh, that's
And
one of the
within months, it had this weird, slick chemical taste to it.
Yeah. That is the danger about becoming one of these private breweries and suddenly becoming too big, because then you get noticed by larger competition, and they want you, or what you have. But they, I don't care about sounding like a hippie, but when a corporation gets something, again, they're soulless, heartless creatures, much like politicians and bureaucrats. So whenever they get it, they don't understand what they have, and they start doing what they do best. changing
Yep.
for the bottom line.
Well, and see, this is the problem with. Yeah, it's basically fascism in all but name, but yeah, stakeholder capitalism.
Do explain.
And it basically you're not doing business for the sake of making a profit and making sure that your customer gets a product that they want to buy more of. It's suddenly, oh, we're getting invested in the ESG, we're doing all these
Evil.
other things that business should not be involved in.
Yes. So just becoming evil. A bureaucracy.
Yeah.
Burn.
And this is, I won't say it's not anything that's new, but it has definitely taken a very different form than it has in the past.
I mean, it is essentially the core of human greed and emotion. At least that's how I see it. As hippie as that sound.
Yeah, I love a good, solid company that actually makes a product that its customers want to buy and buy again.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, because of this multinational push, I'm not getting political here, but what these companies do is they detach themselves from their customers.
Yep.
And that's the problem. They don't see their customers as the actual end user of the product, whether it's a delicious beer or it's a car.
That is because the business is too far removed from the need from their customers. Like
Actually, no.
What?
It's not that at all. It's not that, because they are being pushed to comply with kind of this globalist idea.
One nation and all that.
Yeah, I mean, basically, it's this the balance of, well, if you're economically dependent on me, you're not going to, I'm not going to economically disrupt you. So it's like, basically it's like a Mexican standoff. Everybody's pointed a loaded gun to each other's head, but it's just economies instead of bullets.
I guess we can make some jokes here and there, but they won't fit this this podcast.
No. Let's save it for tomorrow.
Oh yeah. Sultan shot a light guys. See you there.
It's one of these things, because I saw it with InBev. They bought out Beamish Stout. Now Beamish is like this little regional Irish brand. It's like really good Guinness. I mean, like really good Guinness. What happened?
It's not real Guinness unless it's made, in Ireland.
Well, Beamish is Irish.
Yeah, but is it made in Ireland? Made in
Yes.
the Guinness factory? In the brewery?
No, because it's made in the Beamish factory.
Yes. So it's not Guinness.
No, it's better.
Fair enough.
Okay. What happened was InBev bought them, and they're like, well, we've already got an international stout. We're not gonna bother. It's like, excuse me? And yeah, it's like, so they stopped exporting it to the United States some 10 years ago, and yeah, it's like, I think I bought 2 6-packs of it after killing the last keg in North America. Yeah, and I was like, wow, this is an amazing stout. Found it in Ireland, still an amazing stout. But they won't export it because they don't see like little niche market stuff like that as something that can possibly growth. It's like we've got to go down to the bottom line and cut anything out that isn't profitable. It's like, oh well, like a car with a feature somebody likes. They're not going to do that. Why? Because it's not mass appeal. It's not massively economic to do that. It's all accountants running things.
What's the word again? It's the wider audience kind of thing all over again.
I mean, hell, it's not. In some ways, it's not even that. It's more of the we've got to have this target price, so we're going to cut every corner possible to get to that target price, without realizing, oh, well, maybe we need to raise the price, but the customer's getting superior quality. And the customer will pay like $1 more on a $5 item because it's superior quality. I mean, it's just very, yeah, prime night, yeah, nailed it. Utilitarian. Yeah, it's very utilitarian economics. It's the bean counters. But I don't think products should be designed, mind you, by the bean counters, the accountants, that type. Yeah, it shouldn't be designed by the lawyers either.
They can't design anything. They're not
No,
people.
no.
They're just there to make things happen. They're cogs,
And
not creators.
exactly. Which, you know, that's the problem with, well, one of the problems with mass market American beer is it's basically just thrown together, thrown out the door, and then you get what Bud Light did, which we don't need to go into. But what Bud Light did was like, yeah, they'll just buy it for whatever reason. We just got to keep growing our market share, and they went from like the #1 beer in North America to it's a laughing stock of a beer.
Yeah, I don't even think I've heard. Sometimes in some, it's rare that we get like an American beer commercial here, but there was sometimes we got a Budweiser, a Bud Light commercial, and now they're not even visible. Not even one of those accidental ones you get on the channels that takes in outside the channels, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Outside, fuck, what's it called? Broadcasts. Yep. There you go. You know, switching between two languages, it's kind of difficult.
No, you do it better than most. I will grant you that.
Thank you.
Sorry, did I compliment? God, why?
Dude,
Why did I have to compliment the Norwegian?
Insult me, and we'll get it, and we'll just pretend it never happened.
Okay, fine. Yeah, you're very Norwegian. I mean Swedish.
Good thing I don't have any guns. What? I would show you.
Work.
You know, I would show you my collection, but I don't have one because Norway. Norway is very, very base tape. There you go. Late and base tape.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, Maureen. Hello, Based. Also, hello, Callum. Total Blackout Painting. Sir Prime, sorry. Got a little bit distracted due to home things.
Did you?
Yes, I did. At least that's the excuse I'm going to be running with.
Fair.
Yes.
Actually, you know, the one thing I do kind of have to point out, and this is, you know, when it comes to American beer, the weirdest thing is really about Prohibition. And a lot of recipes got adapted so people could maybe accidentally make homebrew stuff at one point.
Yeah,
and that. Oh yeah, well, that's what happens when you get women voters. Oh, sorry. That's for tomorrow too.
I wish.
Yeah, it's like
pardon the smell of curry here, my friends. It restrains our ability to speak.
Yes. Yeah, it's fascinating because it's like the breweries that survived in North America all were the ones that found a way to adapt during Prohibition to basically sell other things instead of just beer, and that's kind of why. For a long time, the mass American beer market was such trash because the only ones that could survive were the ones that figured out some other way to oh well, we're going to get up to the wort phase of brewing, but we're going to turn that into animal feed or something like that. So.
Though that being said, you can use the remaining, what do you call it after you've extracted what you need from the different barleys and wheats? What do you call that mess?
Oh, the malt. Well, so the physical remains.
Yeah, the physical.
That's the wort.
Yeah.
That's the wort.
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 Some bread out of that.
Yeah, I could believe that.
Like beer bread. Oh god. Yeah, dude, you gotta try that stuff with some proper. And when I say butter, I don't mean this homosexual butter that goes around being like, oh, I can't believe it's not butter, or stuff that has reduced salt in it. Proper butter, like Norwegian meierismør, that stuff, and put that on a freshly baked piece of beer bread. It is amazing.
I mean, anything fresh, any fresh baked bread with real butter. Oh my. Well, all right. This is a rabbit hole that I had to get. So that museum I used to work for, we milked our own cows. We made cheese and butter on site, and we baked our own bread.
Oh, that's nice.
And usually it was from the grains that we grew on site. We sent them somewhere to get milled, and then came back. And
did you use a stone mill? Because it's cool, but it's a good way to break a teeth.
I don't know what mill they sent it to. I really don't. That was above my pay grade. But yeah, so we'd have bread made from our own grain. We had butter made from our own cows. And we had meat from our own damn peacocks. Stupid animals.
Never tasted peacock before, but I can imagine they're pretty good. Are they like pheasant?
Very similar. I would kind of put it somewhere between rabbit and chicken.
I haven't tried rabbit.
You are missing out.
I am. But the only time there's only one guy in our area that hunts rabbits actively, and he loves rabbits so much that he always manages to stew it or in the other ways before he's able to share.
Fair enough. I mean, yeah, good. So like a rabbit stew can be amazing.
Yeah. Not even Gollum could say no to that.
No. Granted, I don't know if I'd use Gollum as an arbiter of good taste, though.
No, we're talking about the dude who's been eating raw fish for the last 500 years.
Yeah.
Though he still has more taste than the average Californian, let's be fair.
Well, yeah, but that's like saying, I don't know, somebody who's not used to eating street food. And when I mean street food, I mean Indian street food.
You know the best part about having you here, Bleach? We're just skirting the line so damn close.
Uh-huh.
And it's so fun. Best
See
would
that.
beat us if he could.
Oh yeah, well, he still may try, but the subtlety is a lot more fun. That gets me onto like a whole different topic. It's like there's a distinct lack of subtlety in this world.
Oh, really? We lack
Yeah,
subtlety in today's world. Holy shit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like in mass media.
Oh yeah.
Specifically.
Because everything has to be ironic, and irony is not a subtle thing.
Well, it's not even
modern.
ironic. It's like it just has to be like explicitly stated, and to me, it's like, man, listen to like songs from, let's say, the early '90s and before, and then compare that to like music of now.
I just say listen to old-timey Christmas songs, especially.
But what I'm getting to is, so you get this very subtle sexual innuendo in like that kind of music, where now it's just like basically, yeah, go ahead, and we're just going to sing about these randy acts right now. It's like
WAP, whoa, so.
Yeah, exactly, and it's like, okay, now it's not even edgy because it's not fun, and it's like
what I like is it to this, so it kind of really fits because I'm hinting at "Baby It's Cold Outside."
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And compare that to WAP.
Yeah.
That is just.
That's an excellent point. Yeah.
One is just a bunch of again, they use clever innuendos, and also it's more of a. It's a woman. She is willing, but she needs. It's a little bit of the.
She needs an excuse. Yeah.
Exactly, and it is just part of courtship, right?
Mm-hmm.
The woman needs to know that she actually is wanted by the guy, and the guy has to. Well, he's in. He likes the game.
Mm-hmm.
So this here is just the entire song is them playing this little game because you can hear it in the way they speak that they really care for each other.
Yep.
That's I like it. Music like that, I always liked it.
It's one of those. There is a beauty in subtlety, and that's been lost right now. Yeah, you can still find it, but it's like, I can't remember what there is like some old TV show from the period, like the 50s or something, and it's like, it was always implied that they were having sex, but it wasn't just like, hey, look at that, there's two people just making out. It was just like, yeah, no, you understood what was going on if you were not 12 years old, but if you were 12 years old, you could watch and be like, oh, you're talking about going to bed, and as an adult you're like, yep, it's gonna get to rocking that bed chamber pretty hard.
Hell, your fucking euphemism is much more subtle than what happens in today's media.
Yeah, well,
you want to hear?
I'm pretending to be a classy guy.
You want to hear something funny? Even in old style cartoons, you had that. Take Batman the animated series.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember the episode where the entire first part of it is Harley just trying to get it on with Joker while Joker is busy making his plan number 855?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And it goes from being really subtle to just out. And this is actually the most obvious in DC, right?
Mm-hmm.
Rev up your Harley.
Yeah.
That is, in subtle ways, that is waving a massive flag.
Well, but it's like they could get away with it because it wasn't just like slap you upside the face and just be like, yeah, here, watch this on OnlyFans.
Yes.
No, it's this very artful, very, very, very artistic way of going there, basically saying it explicitly, but without saying it in such words, and that is such an amazing thing, and that's completely absent in the modern culture.
Oh, yeah. Subtlety along with art is dead.
Yep. Because it's like, well, what we were talking about with corporations. It's so cynically done. It's not about giving the broadest audience a good product. It's about extracting a resource from that audience, which is time or ad revenue, not You know, if you make something really good, they'll want to come back and watch it again and again and again.
Yeah, but the issue is that they want less resources but more gain. They haven't
Hmm.
understood that if you want proper resources, if you want proper returns on investments, you actually have to put in more in the beginning and just make sure it makes itself. Again, something that is well made will never give out on you.
Hmm.
It
I
goes for
mean,
like old style cars too.
yeah. Hell, you look at a car built, say 1965, just arbitrary date.
Dude, I still
That
see
car
cars
could be,
I still see cars from the 70s roaming
yeah.
the roads here.
And you know, you have a fairly harsh environment for automobiles with all the treatments you put down for the roads, but the way I look at it, it's like you get an old car and you can fix it yourself. New car, it's like, well, gee, I don't know what this thingamajig does, and oh, I need to have it programmed. Like, what the hell?
Yeah. Bad stuff.
So,
I'm kind of wondering how things are gonna look like in the future. The further we go, and it might be a little bit overly optimistic of me, but I genuinely believe that we are gonna reach a point where the average person will be so tired of automation that the industry will start capitalizing on giving out, more solidly constructed things.
well, I think we've got to hit a tipping
circle.
point, though.
Yeah, it's gonna be. It's a circle. It's always gonna be a ring. It goes in a ring. In the end, it'll be so much crap that it'll be like, okay, we're gonna make something solid. Oh, hey, that sells.
Hmm. Well, you know, kind of like as a counterpoint, though. So, did you see I think it was Disco tossed out an article somewhere about Logitech wanting to make the forever mouse, and basically a mouse becomes a subscription service. Yeah, I mean, it's like who's going to pay $1 a month or something stupid like that?
Yeah, but there's the thing. They have no guarantee of that shit at all. They can make a solid
No.
mouse. Like, my Razer is very good, but they won't be able to do that.
No. Well, and you know, it's like with your Razer. I mean, do you get a subscription service, or do you just buy the blades, use them until you can't use them anymore?
Oh, no, I'm talking about my Razer computer mouse.
Oh.
Yeah. I like the brand because I have the number pads on the thumb side of it.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's actually the mouse I use, and well, I had one that died, and it was like, well, it wasn't completely dead, but the scroll wheel was all screwed up, and that seems to be a common problem. So I'm like, all right, I'll go and I'll fix it. Well, they made it harder to fix, so that sucked, because it's not like I can just pop it out, clean all the debris out like I used to with older mouse balls. But I got to thinking about that. It's like, I can spend $25 and buy it, or the way the Logitech system was being described is, it's upgrading the software for a mouse. It's like, I don't need my mouse software upgraded. I don't. I need the hardware, the physical interaction updated. It's like, and by updated, I mean cleaned when it gets dirty.
If they want to do a whole forever mouse thing, they gotta give us like a physically perfect mouse.
Mm-hmm.
Then they can start considering the whole subscription thing. If they do that, then that would mean that you could just deliver the mouse to anywhere that does electronics and have a 100% guarantee that they're gonna fix and make sure your mouse is perfect without any added taxes or anything like that.
Yeah, but they can't make that guarantee. So why
So
why do a
will-
subscription?
They won't be able to do it. Again,
But,
not even with the subscription, they can't even uphold a promise for like a forever mouse.
No.
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 So
And
again,
it's like,
it's just Logitech with retarded dreams trying to sound fancy without knowing what the hell they want. Without
well,
knowing what they want
and
to
I
do.
think more damnable, honestly, is going in and saying, okay, well, we can take a product and turn it into a service. And it's like, but why? This doesn't make sense. This makes zero sense to do so. It's just it's bad. It's kind of evil.
I believe that is because they've seen too many people talk about games as a service, so they start now believing that, oh, we can make everything a service. It is idiots, midwits, and bean counters just trying to sound intelligent and get a raise. It is just a desperate attempt to climb ranks within their own organizations.
It's more than that, though. I mean, I think a lot of it is it's taking planned obsolescence and applying it to everything.
That is already a thing, though. They already have made everything obsolete with a plan in it. This is just
Yeah. Well, no,
this is just an extra way of trying to monetize that.
yeah, that I'll agree with. But there are certain products out there that you buy it once and then it's yours, and you don't have to fuck around with it at all. Yes, I'm being YouTube friendly. Congratulations, me.
Appreciate it. I'm unable to do it myself, so at least you're able to do it.
But it's one of these. It's like leasing a car versus buying a car. It's like, and an idiot friend of mine always leased cars, and it would always be like, well, I don't have to worry about all problems developing, yada yada yada. And then I just said, okay, well, okay, so you've got a car that you're comfortable taking anywhere at any time. So how many long distance road trips do you take? And he just like, well, none, because I don't want to run over the miles on my lease. But screw you, dude. It's like, why are you paying more in the long run for something that you can use less? That's just stupid.
That is why you always buy cheap cars that are not fully automated. Like, even my Toyota Vensis, yeah, I'm not buying anything after 2015, just because that automation and need for an internal computer is so dependent that you're unable to fix it yourself. Every single car I have now, I can just drive over to my brother or father and they'll help me fix it. Unless it's like really advanced stuff, but then we would have to go to a car mechanic regardless.
Yeah. I mean, this is what, and I do think this is a intentionally done thing across generations. Is basically telling everybody, oh well, you just go to the expert, go to the certified something or other, and they'll do it right. I'm like, no, they won't. I remember. U.S. vehicle inspections vary by state, but I went to one and they're like, oh, your headlights are pointed wrong. Excuse me? Your headlights are pointed wrong. I was like, okay, I know how to set my headlights so I can drive at night. And to get it to comply, you know what they did? They made it so I could barely drive at night because they changed the angle so dramatically. It was basically pointed it into the ground, where I had to use high beams to see where low beams normally would go.
Well, that is because your so-called experts are a bunch of mediocre morons. Let's be fair.
Exactly. So what do? I wait for the inspection. I put some marks on things so I can reset it. when I have to do the next inspection, and yeah, now I can drive at night.
That's good.
It's like, yeah, but my greater point is, they all, there's this push where unless you have a certification or basically unless you've paid somebody to get a piece of paper that says you're smart enough to do this, everybody questions everything stupidly. It's like listening to Bezic talk about, light switches in Australia and how you have to have, an actual electrician come over to do basic work. It's just asinine.
Yeah, but that is because neither of your countries are still are what is considered a high trust society. In Norway, we for some reason still are high trust, though I have a feeling that's going to be watered out by the following 10 years, at least in the cities. But in Norway, we have of course, I blame the EU for this, we have the bi-yearly EU check on your car, which is it's a nice way to find actual faults in your car, but it's also kind of asinine about some things. But yeah, at least this pointer for keeping the car going. But you take in the car, and even if faults are found, you're given like, okay, you just come back by this date and you can either fix it yourself or we can fix it for you. You can send it to someone else who can fix it. Like, again, my father and big brother are both homemade mechanics. They aren't certified or anything, but they're able to do the job.
But they know what they're doing.
Yes. And then you can say that the EU check is just a way to make sure that the homemade repairs are up to the standards demanded for the road. At least that's how we use it in Norway instead of. Though in the city areas, you have the ones who are like, oh, this one is wrong, and we can do it for you, but you have to pay this much instead of just going through your neighbor and they'll do it for you for like even a quarter of that.
Well, it's like, I do all my own work. From the most minor thing to I read, unless I have to actually do many machining work, I do it all. Yeah. And if I do machining work, then I take it apart to that, to that level. Take it to the machine shop guy who's like in his 80s now, who's still just like this entertainingly grumpy old man who's like, yeah, I'll fix it for like, I'll do this for $100. Where you take it anywhere else, it's like $10,000. Yeah, it's like it's that level, but. I've got the confidence to say, okay, I can do these things. And I think that's lacking in basic mechanical skills. And I don't mean mechanical as in automotive. I mean like everything.
I'm a good result. I'm a good example of that. I'm pretty bad when it comes to whole mechanics and that. Not because bad at computer tech, but I'm just never been good at mucking around with the mechanics, because again, when I was young, that was more of my brother's thing. So there was other kinds of skills and focus on things that were, sometimes better, sometimes not better.
Well, and this is something where maybe I've got a natural aptitude for it. I'm not entirely sure, but mechanically speaking, I am very lucky because I can sit there, I can figure it out. We were talking about the bunker stuff. I designed all of that. Just pencil and paper and a ruler. I designed all of it based on 100-year-old documents, and also like did loading calculations and all this other stuff, and then I went out and I built it.
I have a question. I have a question. When you were a kid, did you like build your own wooden huts and stuff?
Not huts per se.
Small shacks or huts and all that, right?
Yeah.
Because my big brother used to do that. He, the first time he made something with the shape of a house, dude was 4 years old. And he made 4 walls and a roof.
Mhm.
with a meter in diameter. Just a wooden box.
Cool.
And he
Yeah.
made that himself. And I mean, you can already see at that age what their aptitude and what they're able to do. And that's essentially the part which should be nourished.
Mm-hmm. Well, and yeah, but I look at, you know, like I can do a house, you know, in-house electrical work. I can do plumbing work. I can build a house basically. I mean, I have. But where things kind of like fall apart, fall down, I think is it's not a skill that's taught like it used to be. It's not a basic necessity kind of skill. It's more of a, well, that's nice to have, rather than, you know, you really ought to be able to do all these things, like cooking. You know, it's like, while you're trained as a chef, I think being able to boil a pot of water and throw some rice in it's just as valuable. It's not going to be as advanced as, you know, what you can do, but at least it's survivability.
Yeah.
And I
mainly though, one thing is at least a nice way to view it. Again, I know that I don't possess the same skills as my brother, but I do have the insight to know that I know where my limits lie. So if I have a problem with something technical, I usually involve my family.
Yeah. Well, and actually, that's a maybe a good or broad point. Is how far have we gotten away from relying on, you know, your family or your neighbor or someone you actually know to help you with these things, instead of, well, gee, I'm just going to go hire an expert.
Here's the thing, though.
Quote unquote expert.
We're still there. At least in my town or region area where we are now. Again, everything we do now is, for example, getting shingle. Hey, I know this guy who does shingle, so okay, he'll deliver that. Okay, cool, thank you. And in return, he either just pays for it, or he gets reduced price in, oh hell, I'll just help you with that thing. Oh, thank you. My brother does a lot of home construction, and he doesn't pay for all of it because the people delivering the material for it usually just request help with their cars or stuff. So my brother in his farm has converted one of the large barns into a garage with everything needed to do full-on car repairs, right? So he has a bunch of people who regularly send in their car for like checkups and stuff, which my brother either does for a small fee, or he just downright does it for free because he knows they'll help him out, or they have helped him out with something in the past or future.
Yeah.
Trades.
And that's the way it ought to be. I mean, yeah, you know, like a lot of early mechanics, and I don't mean, because there needs to be, like, because there were always like professional mechanics, you know, early in the automotive realm. But a lot of like mechanics shops in local areas usually started as like one or two guys who had the know-how, who could figure out this stuff.
Yeah.
Just started to on their own, and then eventually, you know, got up to the larger, you know, like, hey, I can start a business. But that said, you know, there had been, and there's a reason why there's a style of hat called a mechanic's hat. Anyway, completely off the rails. I don't know where I'm going with this. Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of lost me, not gonna lie.
Yeah, I had a great point, but I can't remember what it was. Well, basically, it's like, yeah, while there've always been people who've done certain things professionally, a lot of specialization occurred because of natural aptitude. You could help your neighbor, and then eventually it's like, well, maybe I could make a few bucks at it, and went from there.
Yeah.
Now it's no, you've got to have certification from Billy Bob's $10,000 road
Or
show.
you have to be full-on forklift certified to use a forklift with engines.
Mm-hmm.
You know those. Essentially, they're the midpoint between an actual forklift or the ones you push by hand. Yeah, you gotta have
Yeah.
a full-on certification to use those.
The hell?
Oh yeah, we still have that shit on like the industrial or large scale. And anything mechanical in Norway, you have to have a certification to use it. If it involves an engine, for at least something that is drivable, engine and wheels, essentially, you need a certification.
Mm.
That means, of course, you can still use a chainsaw whenever the heck you want to, but if you want to use a forklift, you gotta be certified because it involves wheels and engine.
That's stupid.
Yep, it is absolutely retarded. And I can say that word, YouTube. We've been through this.
That's right. It means developmentally challenged, which requiring that level of certification shows a level of non-growth.
Oh yeah. So it
Yeah.
is quite literally retarded.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of things I wish I'd have learned when I was a kid. Things I don't learn. Again, the older you get, it's harder to learn things. I guess you probably already know that, don't you?
I mean,
Or maybe
there
you're one
is
of
a
those guys
saying
who never
called.
stop truly learning. Because to me, the older I get, the harder it is for me to learn new things, unless it's
I
connected.
mean,
Unless it's connected
I'll
to
put
something I
it.
already know.
I'll put it this way: in my family, we've all been kind of, at least on my father's side,
Hmm.
always kind of like learning something new. Is kind of how the men in my family all kind of survive. Um, my grandfather was learning like in-depth computer stuff when he was in his 90s before he died. Um, and it was just something to keep himself occupied more than anything else. And my father's very much the same way in that regard. It's like he and I am to an extent. Granted, they were doing more. They were playing to their skills, I guess I would say. Where I'm doing the same, but my skills are more gunsmithing and military technology. Where yeah, one of them was mechanical and one of them was electronic. So, but it's all kind of fascinating.
Very much. Let's see. Oh, we're over an hour now. Do you want to keep going?
I would love to keep going, but I do have some things I need to get done today, and I just don't have the time to keep going, unfortunately.
Again, I'm sorry for the interruptions. It isn't anything like being bothered. Is mostly because again we're doing a lot of reconstruction, a lot of stuff here, so it was necessary stuff. It's just unfortunate it had to be now, compared to how it was and had to be anything yet today. It's just a typical day. But I'm sorry for having to go mute myself, or maybe that was an improvement for once. I'll leave that to
I
you
mean, I
guys.
liked it.
I mean, you always like the quiet,
The
especially after hearing
solitude.
my horrible voice. Well,
Pretty much, yeah.
I didn't get to finish this one, but I'm pretty much halfway done with this thing. What I like doing about these skinks for Rosa is they're relatively quick to do.
And you get paid?
Oh yeah, that's the best part. And I get to do it for a friend of mine. You can see these skinks in, like, I think I have her in the description, added in the description. Every stream you see her on, her opening screen is essentially just her background character is an 8-bit, and then you see the skinks I draw in a line in front of her, like a cult, a gathering. It's kind of cool. Just if you become if you do a donation of a certain size, she will use that money to hire me, and I'll draw a skink based on either you personally or what you prefer. This dude is a Street Fighter, a scientist and a Street Fighter fanatic. So I was trying to channel a little bit of Dan from Street Fighter here, and also
So what I'm hearing, he's a street scientist.
yes, he's a street scientist, ready for throwing some fisting out. You're itching for a fisting. Yes,
That's cringe.
Yes, Maureen, if Charmander was a chemist. Huh, now that I look at it.
Yeah, I forgot about all the extra details that you'd sketched in.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
It's fun. I like doing it, and I always get skinks are relatively easy to do. Similar to each
I mean,
other.
skanks are always easy. What?
I mean, there's a similarity there, but I'm not gonna push that any further. Yeah, so I'll probably finish this one off screen. Sorry for not doing a stream earlier this week, but it's been a handful, like, wowzers.
I like hands full of wowzers. They're nice and squishy and supple.
Oh. Oh yeah, those kind of wowzers are always nice.
Yeah. See, innuendo is so much more fun.
Indeed! They're clever little things like that. I do like that. Well, I would like to thank everyone for dropping by. Sir Primed, Toste. Oh shit, I didn't even see Toste being here. Crap. Oh, he dropped by when I was busy with other shit. So yeah,
he was making fun of you too.
Sir Primed, Callum, Toste. Of course, Toste makes fun of me. That artist. Total Blackout Painting. Maureen, and I remember Monkey. Is there anyone else I have forgotten? Aside from, of course,
you got Dave, right?
Dave, Fat Dave is Prime.
Yeah,
Is
Total Blackout. Yeah.
I don't know why I referred him as Blackout when I see him on YouTube.
Because that's what he uses, and we're used to him on the Sultans.
It's kind of confusing, isn't it? Well, at least for a small brain people like me, smooth brain. But I'd also like to extend a thank you to Bleach for joining me on today, taking time out of his busy schedule. Really appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Oh, it was fun. Now I get to go harass a lawyer, so that's gonna be fun.
That is excellent. Well, I will not keep you any further, and again, everyone, thank you for joining me on this art check. There's gonna be one next week, hopefully around either Monday or Wednesday. I don't know quite what we're gonna make there yet, but I might.
I mean, Trym, do you have like your other places to be found announcements, or do you want to make that yet?
I zoned out completely. What are you referring to?
I mean, well, obviously the Sultans.
Yes, of course, the Sultans tomorrow. I have already mentioned that several times.
And on Monday, your other possible appearance elsewhere.
Oh yes, there we go. Thank you. And on Monday...
Innuendo and subtlety.
Monday evening, I'll be back on Discorded Dragons on Yiz the Unix channel. Do drop by because she's a hoot to be with. Especially when we start talking about goblins.
My golly gracious, me not the goblins.
No, not those kind of goblins. But the nose size is accurate.
Yeah.
Oh, hello, Little Green Martian. Sorry.
You showed up just in time for us to close things up.
Oh, well, thank you for dropping by, dude. It's been real. We've gone through a few subjects today. The first one was completely lost, sadly. That was really good, but if I'm gonna round it up to something, it's just personal tastes and also what we grew up with.
And admitting that you're wrong. Yep.
Yes. I was trying to be nice here, Bleach, but you know, when you're wrong, you're wrong. But I do
no subtlety or innuendo there.
I'm just gonna point out, I do understand why people dislike the prequels. There's a lot of points I agree with there, but I also see a lot of good with them. Again, you're free to dislike it if you do. It's just there are 2 trilogies of movies. Only 2 trilogies of movies. And everybody will have a set agreement about everybody will always disagree with what they like, even with people who within those trilogies say one movie's better than the others. For example, I have met people who insist that Attack of the Clones is the best movie in the prequel series, which I
Actually, you know what?
vehemently disagree with.
I'm going to say that there are technically 7 Star Wars movies.
Oh yeah. Okay,
Yep.
Rogue One is pretty good. It's the only good
No,
thing.
I'm not counting Rogue One.
Oh.
Not counting Rogue One. So okay, there's 8 Star Wars movies then.
What is the 7th for you then?
Why? So we've got the original 3,
Yes.
and then we've got the prequels, and Rogue One, if you want to count that,
Yeah.
and then perhaps the best of the shall we say lesser known parts of the trilogy, the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Oh my god, yeah! Oh shit! I never count that. That is one of the. Isn't that one of the rare times where Lucas actually admitted to his own ego?
Oh yeah, he wanted to destroy every copy apparently.
But I think he was too old when he sold Disney, so he just realized, fuck, now I have the money, but I don't have the physical body for it. I'll donate everything.
Yeah.
I do not want this hunt. I don't want to see it ever again.
Yep. And but yes, no. The holiday special is perhaps the greatest outside of the 6-part yeah.
Yeah, Rogue One just has some good moments in it. It's not really a good Star Wars movie either. Again, you don't lose anything if you drop it. No, the Bothans,
you lose
the Bothans was in the
Return of the Jedi.
Yes, those were not in the first one. The first round of stealing, I don't think was specified, or maybe it was. I don't remember.
I'd have to go and rewatch that.
I think the Bothans were in the final one.
Return of the Jedi. Yeah, I thought it was Mon Mothma that said, Manny Bothans
died.
If you get that internet reference, you're a hero.
Yep.
But yeah, actually,
I don't think that was, or maybe Bothans just always are good at dying to find secret plans. I mean, they are spies.
True. Although I will say they also yeeted my favorite character out of by doing Rogue One.
Oh.
Kyle Katarn.
Oh okay, fuck it. Rogue One will never ever be considered a proper movie because Kyle Katarn is fucking badass.
Exactly.
There
Dark Forces is possibly the, one of the best character arcs for a non-canon character.
Man. Oh, dude. You know what? If you want to do a simply sketch about Kyle Katarn, I'm all for that, dude.
Yeah.
Fuck all right. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we could do the just the whole Dark Forces genre.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't.
3 games, 4 games, if you want to count the Secrets of the Sith add-on.
Maybe. Hell, that gives us 4 more episodes to do, so I'm in.
There you go.
Hell yeah. Well,
But remember, itchy watching space porn is much better than anything that ever happened to The Last Jedi.
Very fucking true. I don't even disagree. And with that, I'm gonna close down the art check. Again, thank you very much for watching, everyone. Nice to meet you, Little Green Martian. Looking forward to next time. Hopefully you'll get notifications in the right time, but never trust Curry. Well, I'll talk to you guys later. Have a wonderful day, everyone. And again, Bleach, thank you for joining.
Thanks for having me. Catch you later.
Bye-bye.